Ashanti Steel, Africa's largest single-owned owner steel company, and one of the continent's largest cold storage facilities. His investment has created over thousands of jobs, particularly for Ghanaian youth, making him a vocal advocate for entrepreneurship as a tool for structural transformation. So what this means is that he has the freeness of speech when it comes to talking about how we can continue to empower the youth of our time to support Ghana's development. The second thematic area of his profile, his political leadership and public service. A founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Honorable Agyapong has played a pivotal role in shaping Ghana's democratic and economic landscape. He served in Ghana's parliament for 24 years. I am sure some of our students were not born honorable. Some of them were not. Born 24 years. Please, let's clap for him. Represented the then Asin North and now Asin Central and chaired key committees, including local government and rural development, and later defense and interior. His political career is marked by bold advocacy for economic nationalism, anti-corruption, and transparent government. Over the years, this is something he's done so publicly to save the Ghanaian purse. In 2023, he contested for the presidential candidacy of his party, finishing as a runner-up. His campaign centered on restoring discipline, promoting job-led development, and building a resilient and self-sufficient Ghana we want. The third thematic area, thought leadership and vision for Africa. Honorable Agyapong's leadership philosophy is grounded in the belief that Africans, he is a firm believer in the power of regional autonomy and decentralized governance to unlock innovation and responsiveness across the continent. His lived experience as both entrepreneur and legislator makes him an authoritative voice on the intersection of governance, economic growth, and youth empowerment. Let's look at another important aspect of him, social impact and philanthropy. And Honorable, as I read this one, but I have from education to healthcare, Honorable Agyapong has invested extensively in social development. He has personally funded the education of hundreds of students, supported health initiatives, and provided infrastructure to underserved communities. And always his focus is on dignity, opportunity, and long-term impact. Known for his candor, patriotism, and fearless pursuit of change, Ken continue to inspire new generation of African leaders determined to shape the continent's future. And you are the latest addition he wants to impact. As a philanthropist, he's built a $6 million cardiotherapy center at 37 Military Hospital. He spent about $300,000 at Komfo-Anokye Hospital providing hospital beds, wheelchairs, and fixing broken down scanner. He provided Tamale Teaching Hospital with a 1,000 megawatt capacity generator. He has about 16 companies in all, as I have mentioned. He's one of the few Ghanaians having a steel company, which when completed will employ over 1,000 workers. And this will add up to the thousands, the over 7,000 workers he's already employing. He has the biggest coal store in Africa with 61,000 tons. And that certainly empowered him to give more. And so, Madam Dean, I have channeled our needs to this philanthropist. Please, with a resounding applause, if you clap the loudest, it will touch the hearts. Let's give him a standing ovation and welcome Honorable Ken Ohene Agyapong.
Thank you. Please have a seat. Good morning, distinguished guests, faculty, students, and esteemed colleagues. It is indeed an honor to stand before you at the 2025 Student Industry Conference. I begin by acknowledging Professor Mavis Dakonjeke, the Dean of Social Sciences, for her unwavering leadership. Professor Joseph Autori Yaro, Chairperson and Provost of the College of Humanities, for his tireless pursuit of academic excellence. My young man, Mr. Banasco Seiduno, our keynote speaker and a trailblazer in digital education. Dr. Collins Bedu Ajaman, our scholarly moderator. And finally, to all faculty members, staffs, and students, I say good morning to you all. Indeed, I'm honored as a poor soul, born and bred at a village not in the map of Ghana, to be called upon or invited to speak to such august house. Madam Dean, I say thank you to you for the recognition. Coming here, I had written thesis. Conversation with the provost, I had to change my style. I had a meeting with my team last night and I told them, you have academicians, professors who can do this job better. So if you limit me to the academic work, it will make no impact or any difference. And when I got here, what the provost said, I said, oh boy, have to go back. So I'm going back to the old style. I believe that is why the auditorium is filled. I want to give you my background for you to see how lucky you are to be here today. I was born and bred at a village in central region called Asin Dompim. I went to Adisado College from that village. From there to Winneba sixth form, and after sixth form, I went to Germany. In Germany, I was washing plates and also cleaning shops known or called ProMart shop in Hamburg. From there, I saved money and went to America. And in America, I first worked at Zaro Bakery. Then I got a gas station. I worked, and that time I was working 88 hours a week at the gas station and 40 hours at the bakery. I managed to save and bought my first taxi. Within 7 months, I had 8 taxis. 7 guys working for me and paying $40 a day. So I was making $280 from the drivers, and I was also saving 100. It means I was making $380 a day. There I managed to buy a house at East Legon for my parents, because my stepfather was an ex-military officer. He didn't save money for the rainy day. So when he went on pension, he had no place to live. They allowed him to stay at his bungalow for 6 months, and they threw them out. When I heard of the news, fortunately, Mr. Zuma Nelson and his manager were in America. So I gave them my first $16,000 in 1988 to deposit on a property for them. And the actual cost was $24,000. So after the deposit, I gave the rest of the money. That's how they moved. I went on doing business, and I decided to go to university. Why you are lucky is when they said 24 years in parliament, say some of you were not born. I went to university at the age of 33. I had a daughter and a son before going to university, Fordham University in New York. Let me tell you, I had my business here, and going to school over there, the level of dishonesty, my business was near collapse. So the 3rd year going to 4th year, I stopped the university, because Fordham University, I was the best economic student. So my professor introduced me to a company called Smith Barney. It was Solomon and Solomon, now Smith Barney. That is where Bloomberg was working. When they came to campus to interview me, they said they were going to offer me $120,000 a year. $45,000 saved, intact, at a great bank. And Dr. Crunchy was the one who was managing it for me. So I came back home and asked my wife, so all this school, sleepless night, writing 10 papers, I'm going to make $120,000 a year minus Uncle Sam. Whilst the workers here were just misusing the money. I promised my wife, I'm going to manage my business in Ghana. And trust me, one day I will employ doctors, masters, first degree personalities to work for me, and have done exactly that. Today, you can use your IT, the digital technologies and all those things to do something better than what I was doing. Because when I was in secondary school, where I got the business traits, was that I didn't feel shy because I was born and bred in a poor home, and all I did was my mother was trading, or a trader, selling on a small table at Okanshi. So on vacations, I would just go and select some of the items and put it on the board and walk from Okanshi to Agbogboshi, walk Okanshi to Kokomlemle. And I was hawking on the street. When I see you, I'll show you, yes, PK, chocolate, Tatra, Nazet, yes, raw. You know, at Sadra College, you have affluent kids at the airport of my beginning. I want going to be, oh, after here, I'm going to look for a job. Or have a vision that after here, I'm going to build my business. Like my young man here. He was here a couple of years ago, and now I heard him say that he did political science. But from what I read about him, it means he's branched off completely. What that means is you only have to acquire knowledge here. It doesn't matter what you read on campus. It's you, the individual, and your determination. Every individual here should have five things. And write it down. The acronym is GOSPA. GOSPA means you should have goals. Every individual should have goals, objectives, strategy, planning, and activities. When you have this, you narrow it down. Ask yourself, you are here. What is your vision? Every person present here should have a vision. Your vision into the future. What you want to become after university. Some of you are entrepreneurs. Some of you will be academia among the professors. But what is your vision? What you want to do? Two, you should have courage. Why do I say courage? You can have all the good ideas. If you are not courageous, you will never be able to implement your vision and dreams. So what I say to young men and women present here is that you should be bold to take risk, and the future belongs to risk takers, not security seekers. I repeat, the future belongs to the risk takers, not security seekers. What do I mean by this? We are working. You accumulate the savings to a point where you have to take bold initiatives to invest your savings. The security seekers are those, with all due respect to professors here, academia, and everybody. Security seekers are those who are afraid to take risk and go and buy treasury bills with their savings. Because the treasury bills going to make for them to pay you interest. The risk taker is the one who will set up the business, whether win or lose, and make more money compared to the one who relies on treasury bills. So you should have courage and say to yourself, sky is the limit. Damn the consequence. I'm going to invest this money. If I win, so be it. If I lose, life still goes on. Such people become entrepreneurs. That is where your topic comes in. Creative minds. Creative minds. So if you want to be creative, then you have to take risk. Now let me give you these fundamentals before I even continue with this. First, as students here, you all come from a home. Parents give you money when you are coming to college. Beginning of your entrepreneurship is when you identify the taste of your colleagues and use your savings to supply them what they need. What do I mean by that? First, whatever money is given to you, you should live a subsistence living and save at least 70% of what is given to you. Don't keep up with the Joneses. What I mean by keeping up with the Joneses is you are from poor home like myself, and your colleague is from a home that is well known. So when you see him wearing nice clothes, your lender of last resort that parents has remitted to you, you also go and buy what your friend from that rich home is wearing. You are not here to compete with anybody, but to build a future, save the little that parents give you. Fortunately, through digital and technology, when we were hawking on the streets, today you can sit in your comfort room and order hair products. The ladies, sit on your comfort home, go on internet, order hair products, and begin to sell to your colleagues. Initially, you wouldn't know how beneficial it will be to you. Sometimes it is not the profit that you make, but the experience that you get from that attitude you have adopted. Again, young men, not only the women, the young men, you can go on internet, order from China or anywhere, sneakers, low-cost watches, because you are students, you don't need to wear expensive watch, and begin to sell to your colleagues. by the time you come out of college, you will have a capital that your friend who was buying from you do not have. Again, it doesn't come on a silver platter. You have to be hardworking. Without that, you are not going to make it. We have colleagues who work for 40 hours and they are content. If you want to be an industry leader, you have to work more than 40 hours, no doubt about it. I gave an example where my normal job at the bakery was 40 hours. I took the gas station job as a pump attendant. And friends who were going to parties during the weekend, I took their shift. And in the long run, my senior who introduced me or gave me that job, I bought him a Cadillac because he didn't have anywhere to go. He spent most of his time going parties, enjoying himself. You have to postpone your spending today for tomorrow. That is the savings. And your savings, when you have accumulated enough, be bold to invest it. And one key area to success is integrity. You have to be honest in your dealings. If you are dishonest, you might have the power today to dupe people, but eventually, all what you have acquired illegally, you will lose it. But if you are honest, wherever you are, people will knock at your door because they believe in you. I'll give you one practical example. I bought this plastic company. It's called Platinum Plastics at the free zones. And I had to meet the suppliers. So they came from Belgium, Dubai. And one lady from Belgium told me that I hear you're a very good man and you are very strong, influential. I want a favor from you. I said, go ahead. And she said she has supplied materials to a gentleman to the tune of $70,000. And for 2 years, he has not paid. He has checked all the records. He's cleared the goods from the port. But the gentleman keeps telling him, hey, that he was not able to clear the goods. What I realized was that all the agents, they know each other. So now he has passed on the information to other competitors. And now the guy is blocked. Second example, I have a company, I supply heavy-duty equipment to mining companies. A gentleman, I bought 16 ADTs, cost $7 million, which I paid cash, no credit. This gentleman took the machines and he never paid. So I took the machines back from him. Just about a month ago, there was a mining conference in Tanzania. The guy went there. He was bragging to investors. I'm the biggest supplier of mining equipment in Ghana, this and that. Unfortunately for him, he said it didn't happen to him in Ghana here, but in Tanzania. He was talking to Dangote's partner, who is into mining and tech. And the partner's son is my son's friend. So they were in Tanzania together. They went And he saw the guy who duped me talking to his friend's father. So I'm the biggest supplier. And he was born in America. So that inhibition is not in him. Oh, fache, no. There and there he told them at the meeting, he's a liar, he's a thief. My father gave him this number of ADT equipment and he never paid. Right there, they cut him off. The man has never met me before. Now he wants me to be his partner in Ghana because of honesty. So it's very, very important if you want to succeed in life. Again, humility. See a lot of rich people here in Africa, especially black people, even in America. See the American basketball players and footballers. When they are going to the stadium, the cars that they use are more expensive than the club owners. Exactly so happening here in Ghana. If you are not humble, this is too personal, I will not mention the name. I went to a young man's house and I saw about 12 cars parked. And I told him, you work for government. You live in this neighborhood, enclosed neighborhood, that everybody knows who you are. Are you dumb to park 12 cars here? What are you doing with this? You met people here. Before you came, there were people staying here. They saw your house being built. And now you have 12 cars. He is not a minister. He is chief executive. And have 12 cars parked. I advise him, you gotta be humble. You are exposing yourself. I don't want to tell you what has happened to him. You know, so you have to be humble if you really want to do business. It is not going about, throwing about, you know, showcasing what you have. If you go to meetings, the billionaires, they come in with jeans and t-shirts and sneakers. It is those of us, we call ourselves wannabe. The wannabe, we go there to impress. Then we put on nice suits, nice watch. In the meetings, they don't even look at the watch. They don't have time. When you talk to them and you hear the things they dream and think about, you realize you've wasted your time going to buy all these things. You know, so we have to be humble. Then you should have foresight. You need a foresight. Ask yourself where you want to go, how far you want to go in life. It is important. Anybody without a foresight has no dream. If you have a foresight, you dream. And when you dream, dream big. Don't be a myopic dreamer or thinker. Do it big. Think big. Do it big. And you reap big. Even when I was young, my mother, anytime I go and do something, oh, Kwame, wait there. By the time she is advising me not to do it, I have already done it and paid for it. So you should have a foresight. Then cooperation. This time, you are young. You have to link up with friends, set up a company together. When you put your capital together, you'll be able to come out with a good company than one person starting from beginning. Unfortunately, this side of the world, partnerships don't work. but we have to make it work, because that's how others have made it. So we need cooperation among ourselves. We don't need negative competition. Competition is important, but it becomes negative when you are envious of your colleague. It's not healthy at all. So these 7 things I've told you: vision, courage, integrity, humility, foresight, and the last one, you have to stay focused. There will be distractions, whether natural or artificial. If you look at the economic trend, because of America and the rest of the world trade tariffs, it is something that you did not foresee that it will happen, but it has happened. You don't have to be discouraged because of what is happening, but stay focused. You aim at a level that you want to attain. And trust me, although what I call, we live in a world where we have multitudinous incarnadine. It's like waves, it goes down and up. When you have this, then comes in the digital. Today, you'll be a better entrepreneur than us because of advancements in technology and digitalization. You can sit here and do business elsewhere. My daughter, who is at Walton Business School, is now here selling chicken whilst he's still working in America. Because of internet, she has a job. She's always on her computer or laptop working, and at the same time going to one of the co-stores. She has taken one of the co-stores selling chicken. Somebody will ask why a Walton Business School student should sell chicken. She did the analysis with my son, and my son told her, if you invest every $14,000 container, you make $12,000. Hey, then why am I in this classroom? I'm coming. So now she's working with her brother, although she'll go back next month. I'm only sharing this experience with you that, with digital, you can do a lot of things differently and do business faster than we were doing. You have to be creative. Creative in the sense that when others are using social media to destroy themselves, use social media to market yourself. That's the creative mind you should have. You should be very innovative. And innovation is key to success. Anybody who sits there and is afraid to innovate, you become stale and stagnant. So take advantage of technology and the digitalization. You can create your own platform, sell your products. Professor Namzoya, where you come from, you have a lot of shea butter. It is not only the book. Go there. What will make you different businessman is that you have the knowledge than us, those of us who didn't finish the university. Buy the shea butter, bring it to Accra. I'll give you contact in Botswana, South Africa, and other countries. Students, go on internet, Amazon, Alibaba, take advantage, buy from them. This time, because of technology, digital, You don't even need to travel to China. You just have to source for companies and their products. What is suitable to whatever your vision is, you just order on the internet, which is digital. It arrives. Look at the number of students gathered here. Anyway, clap for yourself. This is the best and the biggest number I have ever seen. And well attended. Let me thank the organizers before I continue. I'm finishing. You know, it's been too long, but I have to share it with them. So, take advantage of digitalization. Don't sit back. This time is very easy. When you are doing business, I sit here. My wife is in America. She had to go for a week. On her phone, she's monitoring what is going on at Ashanti Steel and Platinum Plastics. I sit here in my office, my bedroom, not my office. Or my cousin here doesn't even know that I monitor all the businesses from my bedroom. I'm sharing this with you. This is a secret. I know tomorrow he will try and get to my bed. So technology and digitalization enhances businesses better than what we were doing before. So young men, take advantage of what is going on in the world. You can go ahead and do your masters, but whilst you are doing the masters, you should also be doing small jobs for supplementary income. So when you are here and we're talking of this digital age, it is to your advantage, because the products that I was hawking on the street, now you can put it on internet. You have chocolate, you have raw, you have blade, Tatra, Nazi, all on internet, and they will buy it. That's the advantage you have. Instead of walking miles, this time you sit there and you can market your product. Take advantage of that. Be creative. Don't sit there and wait for your parents to give you money every day. So this topic, I thought of it carefully, and all I said to myself, summarize it, and say that digital made business easy. Careful thought. The whole thing, I summarized it and said, digital made business easy. So now business is easy because we've digitalized everything. You only have to be creative to know what you want. Then take advantage of it and work hard. And trust me, sky will be the limit. So, sitting here, all speakers mentioning Agyapong, I'm not a magician, I'm just one of you. Just that I work hard. And I don't take no for an answer. When I set my mind on something that I'm going to do it, I make sure I execute it. So I will end here by encouraging you that if Agyapong has made it, you at the age of 20, 22 in the universities, you can do better than Agyapong. And clapping doesn't mean anything because you finish university. Clapping means I am not going to look for government job. I'm going to sell bread. But this bread, I will sell it in style because of my idea from because of the knowledge I acquired on campus, I'll use a different market to sell bread. Who can make me broke? I won't, because I can go to the lowest level and sell bread. All right, Agyapong bread, pa. Some students who look at you and say, hey, look at him, he's selling bread. But one day, they will see you. That Agyapong bread, pa, has a chain of factories producing bread. You can sell blocks. Put on your jeans, sneakers, go out there. Do something. Forget about the knowledge you've acquired. If you are not getting the job, try and do something. And when you begin to do it, that is when you apply the knowledge. But if you think you're a lawyer and therefore you don't want to do anything, some law firms, with all due respect to them, about 6 months, they will not even have one case. So if I don't go and shout, but now that I'm not shouting, how would you get the money? But a lawyer can do something else. You know. So young men and women gathered here today, I share this for you to know that I started from humble beginning and I'm climbing. I'm not yet there. Because you see me, the way professors are mentioning my name, when I went to the meetings, they say, in Ghana, in a blind man's world, one-eyed man is a king. When you hear the numbers they mention, Agyapong is nobody. If I'm not bold, I cannot even speak. So I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still fighting to get up there. So I want you to repeat this after me. Say that one day, I'll be somebody. I'll be better than Agyapong. Go and work at it. God bless you.
One day, I will be what? Somebody. And Honorable Ken says, be better than him. That is how humble he can be. Please, let's give a big round of applause to Honorable Ken Agyapong.
How many departments do you have?
We have 6.
6. I want 3 from each department for internship.
And I am sure Madam D will say the first 3 who registered for this program. I have not said anything, oh. Madam D, over to you. Please, let's give a big round of applause to Honorable Kennedy Ohene Agyapong. If Honorable Kennedy Ohene Agyapong is still learning, what about each one of us? Please, if you are to do a hashtag, SSS Student Industry Conference, what take-home message have you taken from speakers so far? At least did you take note of the gospel? And Honorable Kennedy Ohene Agyapong, you are very creative. So the creative mind is still working. And as you mentioned, because the last time I heard of PhD. And that was patriotism, honesty, discipline. And today is what? Gospel, just to motivate all the youth. The goals, the objectives, the strategy, the planning, and the activities that you tie to it. Please take note of all the memorable thoughts shared our dear business mogul and leader. Don't be a myopic dreamer. Did you hear that? Use social media to market yourself. Integrity, humility, cooperation, and staying focused. Many are the thoughts that have been shared. I do remember the popular saying by Helen Hayes, who said, "The expert in anything was once a beginner." He started from a very humble beginning, and he says he's still learning. When he was exiting the lectern, what he said is that, "Young man, I have done my part, I have left the rest to you." Honorable Ken Ohene Agyapong, in principle, introduced a young man who was just like you, also hailing from School of Social Science, Department of Political Science. Between 2008 and 2012, he completed University of Ghana, Department of Political Science. Now, the food for thought, a political science student, but look at a succinct version of his profile. He's also a visionary entrepreneur with a diverse portfolio spanning technology startups, plastic recycling, renewable energy, sports, agriculture, and coffee marketing. He did what? Political science. He's driving his entrepreneurial gusto, and indeed, that is a profound commitment to youth empowerment, community development, digital inclusion, pathways in strengthening especially Ghanaian youth. At the last check, he schooled and schooled and schooled. He's been to Barcelona to school, China to school, UK to school, Nevada to school. Where else haven't you gone to? With this in mind, Bernasco, his exceptional contributions have garnered international recognition through many prestigious awards, including the most recent one, 2017 ICT Champion Award from International Telecommunications Union in Geneva, Switzerland. Then, the Queen's Young Leaders Award from Queen Elizabeth II, Commonwealth Trust in 2016. Young Achiever in Advocacy and Activism 2021 by the Young Achiever Awards. The Northern Excellence Awards further acknowledge his impact, especially with Special Recognition Award in 2022. In 2024, that was not the end. Mandela Washington Fellow was accorded him, and I must say, he's also a politician and continued to support the NPP and even stood as a candidate for Solar Tuna Kalba district in the Savannah region, bringing global exposure to his local development initiatives. Currently, he's the CEO of NASCO Tech. When I hear NASCO, I think of fridges and TVs. But here we are, a political science student now doing great things. We brought him here as a young entrepreneur to tell us how he started, what is he doing, and any brief encouragement for each one of you. Please, with a round of applause, let's welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Please, you can share this slide.
I'm very humbled
You can share the slide
to be here with you this morning. Chairperson, Provost, Dean, Honorable Ken, and Honorable Dr. Sticker were in Cape Town last week. I have my lecturers here. I see Prof. Adamzo here. I study sociology as well. I see Dr. Isiama, political science. Poster. Right, so I was here some. When the flyer was shared, a lot of my friends were like, "Hey, Banasco, today, Honorable Ken will give you a show." technology and all that are social science students. That is what I intend to do this is now afternoon. If I have my slides, I'll be very glad. So that I just go through them so we can follow. While we wait for the slides, it's imperative for us to understand that as social science students or as social sciences, there are tools in whatever industry or whatever field of academic pursuit that we find ourselves, that you need these tools to upskill yourself to excel and differentiate. What's most important when we talk about your digital identity, it's that value proposition. What you bring on board that the machine is unable to bring. What are you bringing on board that AI is unable to bring? And those are the creative things that you can bring as a human being, your emotional intelligence as a human being, and your leadership as a human being. Now, the good news is that we all still have time. We hear every day that AI is going to cut jobs. We hear that every day. The good thing is that we have time to catch up with these technologies in our industries. The bad news, however, is that so does the machine. So whilst we are raising time to catch up, machine and AI is also raising to catch up with the time. So the time begins now. Now it's also very important to let you understand that it is not just those of us in the social sciences that are at risk of these AI and machine interventions. Recently it was in the news that Microsoft laid off about 9,000 workers. That's about 4% of its global workforce. Now these people comprise engineers, developers, designers, and support staff. So it's not just the political science student, it is not just the sociology student, but it means even people in the tech industry. Now, the World Economic Forum also tells us that AI is estimated to cut down about 9 million jobs in the 2030s. Okay, thank you very much. Now, AI also, the same World Economic Forum also tells us that by that 2030s, AI is going to create about 11 million jobs. So if you do the basic arithmetic, that's a net profit of the job loss and the jobs that are to be created. Now what it means is that there are pathways to which you can earn these jobs. So let me see where I can quickly. Now, so at the end of this 15 minutes engagement with you, I want us to understand that we are going to demystify, like I said earlier, a couple of things. So for example, what does being creative in a digital age mean? Are AI taking over our jobs? Can anyone be creative? What does the future hold for non-tech students like you and I, and ask these tools and how you can maximize these tools. So for example, I have been able to identify a few. So for example, if you look at geography, it means that geography has gone beyond learning plateaus and mountains and oceans to understanding that, okay, there are other tools that you can use. Now, there are also the use of drones for imagery and all that. So you can find a geography student who needs to understand landscapes, but has to go and learn to become a drone pilot to be able to put to ground what you have learned as a geography student. So what it just means is that you are marrying what you learned in school and adapting digital tools to able to deliver on what you have learned. Now, like I did mention, what are the things that we need to all know and understand? Now, it's important that we all know and understand that at this age and time, we all need basic AI fundamentals, if you like it or not. You need basic AI fundamentals. A lot of us are using ChatGPT just for our assignments. You copy and you paint, you paste. You have to even understand how to write prompts, as we have always been said. I mean, basic computer science, or what is a computer? They say you put in information, it processes it and gives an output. And we've also been told that garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you even put in the chatbot defines what kind of a response that you get. So we all need to understand what are the basic AI tools that we can use. If you're a lecturer, how are you able to use AI to administer your classes in such an interactive manner that students can better understand what you're saying. Now, you also need data literacy. Honorable wants to be president, and we do believe and hope that we need a president like him. And gladly, I know Padre because we studied together. He was my boss at Kofi Annan. I studied with him at Kofi Annan. Now, if I want to be instrumental in Honorable's campaign, then I should be able to go to Padre to give him data, do analysis for him to understand that Honorable needs this information, and that is my trump card. That is what will give me attention. Then he can look at me. So what do you bring on? I mean, our social sciences, I think we all know SPSS and all that. We do those things and we never take them serious. But there are a lot of data tools that we need to understand to be able to do business. So like Honorable was saying, if you are doing business, you need to understand what the figures are. And there are a lot of elementary. All these things I'm talking about for the purposes of the gathering, they are elementary tools that you don't need to be a software engineer, or it doesn't have anything to do with coding. It's just elementary tools that you can learn easily and use it. And I'm very glad that I am the one speaking to you because I come from that background and I'm not from the computer science department, though now I work with them very closely. Now, of course, you also need the soft skills. That's where the creativity comes in, leadership comes in, emotional intelligence comes in. How are you able to keep up with the connections that you have? Like we say in the Gen Z world, what's your vibe? How do you vibe with people? How are you perceived and all that? Then, of course, UI UX. What is UI UX? We are talking about user experience and user interface. Now, when I was asked to come and engage on this topic, one of my assistants at the office, I think he studied Swahili. First in Swahili. I also studied Swahili anyway, and the only thing I remember now, unfortunately, is Nina Kupenda. Do we have some Swahili students in the building? Right. So I asked him to design this. Now, what does it mean? It means that you need tools like Canva, even as students, that you can now, everybody say we've moved beyond PowerPoint. So if you are still studying PowerPoint, you are a bit behind. You should hasten slowly to catch up. Now, I asked him to design this, and he used Canva to design this. What it means is that even as students, you should be able to put up presentable presentations, appealing presentations, presentations that are catchy, that are engaging, so that when you go to look for that job, you are able to say that, yes, I can do this better. So you need that UIX, and of course, you have to keep learning. There are a lot of online studies that you can take. You should also know how to even use a hybrid work. So, for example, if you're a designer, you should be able to use AI art aggregators to enhance your work. You should be able to use AI to enhance your writing and all that. Right, so I was talking to you about the Microsoft job cuts. Now, this is a document that indicates what are some of the jobs that are going to be created once AI makes some other job or roles redundant. Now, what it means is that you need to adapt or acquire new skills, like I was saying, like what is prompt engineering, how you're able to learn design, what are some of the things that in the near future, people like Honorable Ken, when they say bring internships, what are the kind of people that he needs as interns? That is what the next jobs are going to be centered on. Now, so let's look at what the role of NASCO, my organization, is. I take this opportunity to share my story briefly. Now, I was equally born in a village around Tichiman called Fianso, and that's my home. Then it was a very nice home. We're very proud because we could receive white people in our house, right? So, I mean, at the village level, I was a big boy. And that is my brother, and he was on the desert. like many such stories that we have heard, my senior brother unfortunately had to journey that treacherous journey, crossing the Sahara, the Mediterranean, and arriving in Europe. Now, when he arrived, fortunately, among the few, then he was able to finance my education. So coming to the University of Ghana was my first time crossing Kumasi to arrive in Accra. And I remember, yeah, you should clap for me. I remember the morning, of course, we came with a 9th bus, right? So if you're familiar with the Shiabata area, Dr. Prof. Adamzoya, we came with a 9th bus and we arrived at Achimota. Nobody brought me, of course. I came on my way with my bag on my head. When I arrived at Legon at dawn, I was like, wow, Legon is beautiful. Then at the time, of course, my mother not educated, my father not educated, so nobody in my family cared about what was a first class. All my mother was excited about was that her son was at Legon. And what was most important was that if I returned home after a 4-year degree in Legon, I should be able to pull out a wallet and give her something to buy porridge. So I told myself, I'm not going to go back to my village how I came. That was how everything changed. So I got involved in student activities. I joined associations. I joined committee, hall committees. I joined POSA. I did, at that time it was SAIF, now Ignactus, and I joined a lot of so that I could connect with people, because I was the only one who came from my village. And of course, as you may know, a lot of us from those kind of secondary schools, you come here and you have no classmates or maybe very few schoolmates. So I told myself that, okay, how do I get back tomorrow? And I said that, okay, I can know Palgrave, that perhaps he's from the Boachidankwa family, right? I don't have any family that is known and recognized. So how does he recognize me? And that was how everything started. And this is just to encourage you and also to add up that connecting with people was very important. So when my brother arrived in Europe, he financed my education and I came to Ghana. I mean, University of Ghana. Now, at the time, I was in Tamasco. Those of you who are familiar with Tamasco at the time, we had a computer lab, and we only had access to the computer lab 1 hour, I think in 3 weeks or so, because like there were a lot of classes and everybody had to go there. So when I came to Legon, yes, the ICT directorate is right behind here. They gave us, I think, 1 hour. I don't remember whether it was a day or a week, 2 hours. Yes, so you had your student ID was, you could access the center with your student ID and you use the facility for 2 hours. Now, I go around, those of my brothers from Y and Tamale who did not feel comfortable with the computer, then I go get their ID cards and I can exhaust my 2 hours, exhaust Ibin's 2 hours, exhaust Rashid's 2 hours, and I can spend more time there. And that is how I developed love for the computer. And whilst I was still a student here, we set up this foundation called NASCO Foundation. The whole idea was, how do we go back to our community to give to the kids what my brother didn't get? Because my brother tells me, if he knew what it was to go through the desert, he would not have gone there. So it means that information was very important in decision making. Information was very important in the 21st century. So all we could do was to give information to our young ones back home. So whilst I was here, I was taking computers. Then, of course, he was in Barcelona, as I mentioned. I was taking computers to Sola Tona Calva in the Savannah region, close to the Moli National Park, to set up computer labs. And I'm very glad to say that today, we have 17 established computer centers, including what we have here at the University of Ghana at the Political Science Department. Now, as a serial entrepreneur or as a tech entrepreneur, I came to realize that, okay, we're establishing computer labs and teaching kids digital literacy. Then we came to understand that digital literacy was not just a skill, but a lifeline to opportunity, innovation, and self-belief. Now, what it meant was that more young people were then trained to become software engineers. How do we utilize these new software engineers that we have developed or we have trained? So we went back to Spain to tell the organizations, the companies that were giving us the computers. Well, at that time, I was receiving some funding, so and I could travel to Spain and back. So, I mean, life was starting to get good. Then I was starting off making money. So I went back to the companies, organizations, to tell them that you provided us with a lot of support to train young people. Now we have enough young people that are skillful enough, that are creative, that can work for you remotely. And COVID came to amplify that narration. So initially, the companies gave us roles, not because they believed in our talent, but because they saw it as a corporate social responsibility. Let's do it for the optics. Because the narration was that, okay, if my brother went to Europe through the desert, now we are creating opportunity back home so that we don't get kids going like my brother did. So we are offering education. Now, to close the cycle, we needed to offer them jobs to stay in Ghana, eat banku and tilapia, eat gobe, whilst working for the foreign companies. So in 2021, when I lost my elections in Solatona, Kalba, and I wasn't given any appointment, I wasn't appreciated, I started thinking, how can I create value for myself? So we are proud to say today that we do not only work for Spanish companies, but we work for one of the biggest banks in Spain, Banco Santander. And 2 weeks ago, the bank invited us for one of their events, and I had the opportunity to meet the Queen of Spain. Now, because my brother received an award from the royal family called Princess Girona for social programs. So the royal family knows our story, so I had the opportunity to hear the Queen say, Banasco, we hear your story and we appreciate you, and it was a very proud moment for me as a young person. So if you come to my office today, that's not a lot. Maybe the government is doing bigger numbers, but I have a solution that trains young people. They are there learning today as we speak, that after training, we are able to assign them remote works. And every month, I mean, I think that the government should also credit some of us. We are bringing in a lot of foreign exchange. That's why the CD is gaining traction. Now, how do you develop your professional identity? I mean, very simple. Sometimes you hear people say, I'm looking for a job. You tell them, what can you do? They say anything at all. There's nothing like anything at all. So how can you be creative even in your job search? So, for example, if Honorable says, bring me your CV, and you, instead of submitting the document CV that we all know, you submit a 2-minute video about yourself, telling him in the video who you are, what your skills are, and in the video you can even insert clips that demonstrate what you are doing. So for example, maybe if you say you are this, you are this, you are this, then there are clips showing that if you say you're a poster president, there should be a clip of you interacting with students as a poster president. If you say you're a social worker that was even on field to do some work, there should be a clip indicating that you went on a volunteering on the field and it is there. So that in that 2 minutes, you submit that video to him. Because of course, if you tell you the truth, if you send him a CV with qualities, you put all those qualities. You put duties of what you did as NSS, he wouldn't read them. But I believe that if you send him something else, a 2-minute video, he will watch and be like, wow. And that's what is creative about what you set yourself apart from every other person. Now, we have already said that being tech savvy doesn't mean that you should learn coding, but to understand that there are digital tools that you cannot